Hello, everybody. What's up, guys?
What's up, dude?
Cheers.
Ow.
I
I just feel like, and we're live.
Hello, everyone. So, what have you guys been researching? What's going on? What's up, James? James is going to be a AI guy. He's a cartoon
Yes.
creature.
I am updating my avatar right now, so it's holding a cup of coffee.
Oh, nice.
There we go.
Sweet. Cheers.
Nice. Looks a lot
Cheers,
more
brother.
muscular than what I really am, so don't believe the image, okay? Don't trust it. This is fantasy.
This guy is actually Nolan from the show Invincible.
I never got to finish season 2 of that, and they're already moved on.
Oh, dude,
I've
that
only
show
watched, like,
gets
one
so deep
episode,
so
yeah.
fast.
I'm waiting on season 3 of One Punch Man.
Oh, the Watchmen?
That's a good show.
I like Watchmen. I actually thought about getting that little smiley face tattoo with the little blood.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going out to Iowa, and they have tattoo guns. So I was like, yeah, I don't know if I want to do that, but I'll try it and do it myself. I'll tattoo my own leg. It might come out terrible.
Yeah.
No, my luck could definitely turn out terrible.
I gotta use like a stencil and draw it on first, and then just trace it.
I think that's like a specific way of tattooing where they trace it.
Yeah,
There's
I
like a,
know
there's like
it's
a name
not.
for that.
I don't care if I mess up on my own leg, but if somebody else does it and messes it up, then I'm gonna be mad at them.
See, I have no
Yeah.
tattoos at all. I
I
would
only
love
got
to
this
have
one.
some.
I got a little
Neither.
tattoo.
My problem is I can't stay happy with one thing for long enough, and
Yeah,
tattoos don't really go away. So
yeah. You either have to laser it off, but when I go to Iowa, that's like we're gonna go shoot guns, do some tattoos. There's a farmhouse across the street. I'm gonna go investigate, do some paranormal investigating. Hopefully, I can get to Farrar School, the most haunted school in Iowa. It's I guess Sam and Colby own it. I didn't know that until I heard other people talking about it. But I didn't even know who Sam and Colby were. They're like big YouTube investigators.
yeah.
Yeah. I think
if you wanna
Dario
know-
actually debunked them a couple of
yeah.
times.
If you want to know about Sam McCoble, go check out Side Eye Guy. He has covered them
Yeah.
several times, and
He's so
especially the
tough.
school.
Yeah, that's so funny. I haven't watched anything because I just want to go investigate. So after I investigate, I'll go and look at what was it? Destination Fear, I think, did it, and I think Dawson did it, and a few other people, and see if anything matches up. Because I'm just gonna go in there and hang out. I think I get 4 hours. I don't know if there's anyone else that's going to be there. It's just going to be me, my wife, and my sister-in-law, and hopefully we get the place to ourselves.
Nice.
Cool.
And I do have a drone, and in Iowa, there's nothing. It's just cornfields, so I get to play with my drone.
Hey,
Cornfields and cows, as my nephew said about Kansas.
Yeah, there's nothing out Kansas and like Iowa. It's just flat. I've been there. I went there last year. There's absolutely nothing.
not like it is around here where me and Matt are at. It is nothing but freaking pine trees around here.
Yeah, you got nothing.
Same.
Not even
It's
where
fine.
I'm at. It's
Good
civilization
area
as
to
far
look
as
for
the eye can
UFOs.
see.
The nearest
Good for
house to me is like 75 to 80 feet away.
I mean, I love it, but at the same time, I hate it. I love it because I can go anywhere in the blink of an eye. I don't have to worry about like taking a trip somewhere. You know, most places I can get to on foot, but I hate it because my neighbor is also like a paper thin wall away on both sides of me.
If you want trees, come here.
So it's got its pros and cons.
Hi, everybody. It's just Pomp in here, I believe. What's up, Pomp?
Hey, Pump.
How's it going, Pomp?
Have you guys seen the stuff about? There's some new discovery in Hidalgo, Mexico, or Tula, Hidalgo, Mexico, and they dug up like the peak of a pyramid with hieroglyphs on it, and then they get sarcophagus with like alien etchings on it and alien UFO hieroglyphs and petroglyphs. They keep digging up crystal skulls too, and I was like, all right, so either this is the best fake of artifacts I've ever seen, because there's I think it's over 600 artifacts that they have that they've dug up, and you can actually watch them digging all this stuff up. And it's not in the news cycle. Nobody's talking about it that much. I think the people are saying, like, automatically saying it's all just handmade, like new stuff that they buried. But how would you make crystal skulls? First off, I don't even think we can really make those crystal skulls. Maybe we can, but not precisely like they look like.
We can now.
I mean, possibly by possibly by glass blowing or like blowing or something, like when they like take the glass and stick it in extremely hot temperatures. But even still, I think that might make it mess up.
Right, because it is crystal. Crystal's really hard to carve.
It's never going to be perfect if we do.
So, I think they're dating some of this a couple thousand years old, and it's like 6 feet, 8 feet, and then when they got to like 10, 15 feet, they're finding all sorts of devices, like a wheel inside of a wheel, but made out of stone with a bunch of petroglyphs on it, and it actually spins. It has like a pin in it, and you could spin the wheels. And I was like, wow, I've never seen some stuff like this. Another one I was looking into for UFO stuff, the Bogosphere. Somebody, they got that one, and they were doing, scanning it, x-raying it. There's stuff inside of it. They're not sure how it's put together. It's just a little basketball-sized sphere. And then I was reading that it only weighed 5 pounds when they first found it, and then when they weighed it at the research center, it was 23 pounds or something. So how the hell is it changing weight?
Like they use the same scale?
Yeah,
I don't. Maybe they messed up.
Could have been a density change in the environment, air pressure. I don't even know.
It did say the stuff inside of it, there's smaller spheres inside of it, and the make of the chemistry of it is weird, like rare metals and stuff like that.
I'm not surprised by any of it, to be honest, because I mean, look at the pyramids. We still can't figure out exactly how they built the pyramids way back then. So having these carved skulls out of crystal, and we don't know how they did it, it doesn't surprise me. Yeah, I'm curious. I want to know how they did it, but it's like you were mentioning that wheel that spins. I mean, was this prehistoric Wheel of Fortune or the spinning wheel from The Price is Right?
Yeah, like why would they make such high-tech like devices and artifacts and then just bury them? First off, the pyramids weren't actually like for the kings to be buried. Maybe one person was buried in there, but they did just scientifically prove that the stuff under the pyramids is real. There are other chambers and tunnel systems under the Giza pyramid. The other thing that's really interesting now is all over South America, Mexico, Peru, different pyramids with these new scans we have, LiDAR and all these radar systems to scan. They could see ancient roads, city layouts, and pyramids that actually people aren't allowed to go to. There's no fly zones. There's no, you can't go visit it. So that, we have no fly zones all over the place. And usually there's a pyramid or some type of structure or ancient artifacts that we're not allowed to dig up. Göbekli Tepe, they're not going to dig up the rest of that. They dug up 5%, and then they said no more and covered it with like a roof.
Yeah, I saw that. Jimmy Corsetti covered that.
It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
They had
if we want
it was just last night I was watching it live. they had it was a official government meeting between the CIA, the FBI, several members of Congress, Senate, Supreme Court, the National Department of Defense, the U.S. Department of Defense. The U.S. president endorsed it, actually put the whole thing together, and they were talking about UAPs and what we know about them so far.
Yeah.
If we would be able to capture one and reverse engineer it.
Which we already did.
One of the things is that we're actually, well, no, actually, the only craft that we've successfully captured on record, this was admitted during this meeting, was in Roswell. There was a UAP that had crash landed there, but it crash landed due to an electrical error on board, and they weren't able to reverse engineer it very well. They looked at it and they said, I think this is how it works, but they didn't really know.
That's
So,
Bob Lazar, Element 115, part of the power system. That's
Yeah.
probably why he keeps getting raided by FBI, because they think he has some of the element that we actually proved in the Hadron Collider that we do have the Element 115. They got it for a second and then it disappears, but they proved that it actually exists. Some of that stuff, and then somebody else just filmed another Boogosphere over Colombia. So there's more than one of those spheres that we just got. So, but they're still flying around. Maybe they're looking for the one we got. There's other things like, oh, hi honey, hi thigh, 420 witch. So that's actually like
What's up,
amazing
420?
to me. Yeah, that 420 witch.
Either
That's my
Alicia.
life.
I gotta
So-
give a shout out to that nickname or that
Yeah.
username.
He's had that forever. We actually have things now that we don't understand, and they're actually just covering it all up. What's crazy with the new discovery in, like, if you watch Graham Hancock, the new discoveries of just ancient civilizations that we've never really looked into, or most people just say, well, that you're looking at it wrong. It's not this, it's not that, but it really is. They're finding giant footprints in ancient stone. They're finding, hieroglyphs that depict creatures like Bigfoot or even UFOs, little green men, little alien creatures with 3 fingers. If these things are thousands of years old and those ancient people were depicting them, they probably had some type of evidence to depict them. They didn't just randomly pick out, all right, we're going to draw a 3-finger guy for no reason. There had to be something that happened that showed that they saw that. Or like even the UFOs, what's there, helicopters in Egypt on the hieroglyphs, and they look like helicopters and stuff. But people say that that's just a mistake. It's just mistaken identity. I don't think so.
Yeah, sure.
No, I mean, if you see 1 or 2 of those images, like even my 7-year-old son would draw something that looks like, but when you're seeing them all over the planet like we are, people are discovering them in various countries. I mean, this isn't as simple as one person drew it wrong.
Right.
People
Right.
are actually seeing these things.
And if
You
we
know.
didn't communicate back then between continents, so like China will have their stories of weird UFO lights in the sky. Then you got old Roman and Greek, the flying chariots, and then over here in America, flying canoes, the flying silver canoes. They came down on a spinning wheel of fire. You know what I mean? That's some of the stuff. And maybe some of these UFOs used to actually have fire or a glow to them, and they said it was like dragon breath. So there's another thing. Maybe they said dragons flying through the sky. Maybe dragons were UFOs.
Maybe. Either way, this was part of the discussion that we were having. What was it? I don't even remember. It was a buddy of mine's server. We were having a discussion. We lost Mike. But we were having a discussion.
Go.
Come back! No, we were having this discussion about it, and it's really, honestly, you got to think that there's got to be something in the universe besides us. that's probably super intelligent. Because I mean, just the scale of our galaxy alone, and then there's more galaxies like it.
Yeah,
We
we're
can't
just the
even
Milky
fathom
Way.
it. It's crazy.
If
And
you
it's
look into the near-death experiences, some of the things people have talked about on that, they actually say that when they ask, "Is Earth it? Is that it?" They're told absolutely not, that the universe is teeming with life.
Yeah,
So, but the
I've
problem
had that
is,
experience. I
Yeah.
didn't ask any real questions. I just got told you're going to be okay and taken back, and boom, I was back in my body. But
Yeah.
there goes. Actually, what was I going to say?
Weird.
I forget what I was going to say. The whole out of body experience and near death experience stuff. When I had that, it seemed like a long time I was floating around, but I guess I was only knocked out for like 30 minutes. Seemed like a couple hours.
and that's another thing. They always talk about as soon as they're disembodied. I'm not going to say dead, because dead's a really poor description of it. When you become disembodied, time stops.
He was probably right about that, Kaylee.
Hello, 4 people. What's up? I'm trying to read the chat here. Pomp said something. Pomp said something about Coral Castle. I really love Coral Castle down in Florida.
Oh yeah, he was asking if it was in California. I don't remember exactly where it's at, but that is a very interesting place, and I would love to know how he did that.
A lot of people say pulleys and just him doing it, but he was 5'5" and 100 pounds maybe, and lifting 3-ton stones and a door that swings open with one finger. Hold on, let me get Michael back. There he is.
Hey, Spectre Whispers.
All right, there he is.
How's it going?
What's up, Mike?
Hi, welcome back, Mike. We missed you.
Damn internet.
Long time no see, Mike.
How's the kids?
Let's see. Mistress Kaylee said, I think it was Eric Idle that said that there had to be intelligent life out there because there's none down here. That is true.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think she's right about that.
Yeah, she's definitely right about that. That's why we're not part of it, because they're too scary.
That's why their technology is so much better than ours. They're intelligent.
I work in customer service, so I can vouch for no intelligent life down here.
So that's definitely one thing. I do think we have stuff on the inside of our Earth. So some stuff that was said about UFOs and aliens that Trump has known all along and just is, not coming out and saying it right out. But he has said he will disclose more. They keep kind of talking about that immaculate constellation stuff. Different galaxies have been spotted. James Webb Telescope is actually seeing some stuff. What's our farthest satellite that's flying out to deep space?
Voyager.
The Voyager just hit what they call a firewall in space, and it's actually like a part of space that's like burning hot. Well, it just hit that wall of burning hot area. So that's been out there 50 years. That's crazy. They're finding all sorts of weird shit.
Yeah, the Voyager, it actually did that. I think it was back in 22. It's been a little while. It's been almost 10 years actually when it hit the plasma wall.
Plasma wall.
Yeah, that's the edge of the radiation influence of the sun, but the actual influence of the sun goes almost a light year away out to the Oort cloud. So this thing's still technically within our solar system. It's just beyond the big planets.
Yeah, it's deep space.
That's just outside of that electromagnetic field where the radiation can actually simmer.
I do wonder what we would
see.
Shot.
Yeah.
If Hubble got out there or James Webb Telescope, if we put it out that far, what we would see would probably blow our minds. I,
Oh,
don't,
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we already see with it. Oh, hi, Spectral Whispers.
And we can also get a much better perspective as far as depth in space or distance in space. If we were to take two
Mhm.
James Webb telescopes and send them either direction out further and further and further, it'd be like getting a set of eyes further apart, and you can really tell depth that way.
Yeah, I don't think our universe ends. I think there are maybe voids where it's empty, but then you're going to come across another galaxy eventually. We know there's thousands of galaxies. We're just stuck in the. What's the thing that they say we can't pass? The Van Allen belt. So we've never gone to the moon. I was looking at the moon stuff, and people are like, why can't you see the stars when you're on the moon? Now, one thing did make me question if we landed on the moon back in '69 was the shuttle lander, the landing craft that landed on the moon. There's no divot or like crater. Shouldn't there be a crater under that because of the thrust? It's like 40,000 pounds of thrust. So that does make some sense. I think some people might be right that we filmed a fake moon landing, but we probably have been to the moon. Now China's saying that they go to the backside of the moon, but why don't we get real pictures? Why can't we have real pictures of all this stuff? We have the technology. They should be sharing.
Honestly, that they're saying that on purpose. They're honestly trying to confuse us about it because they are up there and they want us to think that we can't go up there so that we're not questioning it. But the thing about the stars, anybody who says that about the stars doesn't understand cameras and photography. Back then, you didn't have an ISO setting, but on modern cameras, you do. But you have your shutter speed and your aperture setting. Both of those you have to adjust to get a clear view. The problem with the moon is it is so reflective when it comes to sunlight that if you were to adjust the camera where you could see the stars, everything would just be whitewashed. You couldn't see a thing. So they had to close the aperture down to see anything there. And when you do that, the starlight isn't bright enough to even be picked up on the camera. So it's a camera setting, not a conspiracy.
Right. Because the sun is always shining on it. So unless you were maybe on the dark side of the moon and then took a picture, but you would only see a certain spot of star cluster because the sun is out everywhere else. So it would look weird. People even say that Earthrise picture isn't real, but I think that's a real picture, and they just got lucky and took that picture out of the spaceship, and we're like, damn, we got lucky. Pomp said,
a lot of people seem to think that the reason why it's fake on the moon landing is due to the lighting and stuff like that. Because the shadows.
My theory is you got to think about back then we were in a space race. I mean, it was America versus Russia versus China. There was just like everybody was trying to get out there, and whoever got out there, it's like the AI race now. Whoever got out there first wins, right?
Yeah, this AI stuff now is crazy.
Maybe we did go to the moon, maybe we didn't, but America wanted to be first. And so even though they weren't first, they made a moon landing. And they showed all the other people like, oh, hey, we've already been there, hoping they would win the space race without winning it. So that's my theory.
Actually said the dark side of the moon has structures. That's what I don't know what astronaut it was. I know was Neil Armstrong, I believe, has spoke about some structures and seeing things while he was going up, onto the moon. Lights in the sky, like seeing things, but they weren't supposed to talk about it. But Pop did say aliens are out there. Their intentions, they're irrelevant, whether or for war or peace. They're so far more advanced that they could do whatever they wanted to us. Like basically, we're ants.
Yeah, they could pretty much obliterate us if they wanted to, but they haven't.
I do like the new AI stuff. It's pretty cool, but now it's getting to the point where it's hard to tell. So I was watching a thing like how you can tell. Usually teeth get messed up. Fingers still kind of get messed up. all writing or lettering behind people will be like gibberish. So you can tell when it's AI, but some of them are getting to the point where, like, say you sent a video to your grandmother, my grandmother, or somebody, and you were like, I'm in jail, I need help, send money fast. They might actually send the money. So that's some stuff we got to be careful with. AI is cool, and I've been watching Bigfoot run around, the AI Bigfoot guy run around doing stuff, and he's like, found some booger sugar and doing drugs in the woods. I'm like, what the hell? Doing all sorts of crazy shit. I think that some stuff is under the ocean and under the earth. 1979, they hit the moon with a rocket, and it rang like a bell for 3 hours. So they know the moon is hollow.
Kind of bringing up the theory that's not a moon, that's a satellite. So
Wouldn't even really need a man-made satellite. I mean, honestly, any kind of phosphoric spray, like that. What is it? The aluminum phosphorus, I think it is, that they spray in the sky up here. That stuff actually reflects solar radiation.
Right. Seeding.
You need a lot of it.
Cloud seeding.
Well, it depends on the radiation you're talking about. The dangerous radiation that we got to worry about is the ionizing radiation, but that is easily deflected with a magnetic field. With a nuclear-powered satellite in front of Mars, the L1 Lagrange point, it could create a large enough magnetic field that you could actually start setting things up on Mars and live there. You could probably even regenerate the atmosphere.
Yeah, if you melted all the ice, because there's ice on Mars. What's the movie, Total Recall?
It might melt itself at that point. If there's any activity in the core on Mars, which probably, then it should just like regulate itself. It'd take time.
Yeah, you just got to stop the sun from stripping away the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't Musk supposed to be trying to colonize Mars again or something?
Pop is saying, for all we know, there's a brick wall at the edge of space. Yeah, well, maybe.
I was gonna say, that's probably why like demons and stuff are always trying to take your soul, because that's the price of the toll road to get. You gotta pay your tolls.
Mr. Steele says Russia would just sat there and shut up and fake the photos. I don't know if Russia would have faked the photos. I mean, they had Sputnik. They had the first guy in space. They had a lot of the first, Russia.
Honestly,
for space travel.
I don't think that was their concern, because they didn't think a lot about a lot of things. I mean, the whole JFK incident really happened because of just, getting into it. There was a lot of people that felt a lot of ways about a lot of things, and they didn't exactly see eye to eye, and that's kind of why it all. So going back to the space race, I really don't think they thought about that. I think they just thought, if we get there first,
if we can get up there,
yeah,
we will.
And they probably did. They probably made the whole, stage landing just to say we did get up there. Yeah. But I mean, obviously, that was going to spark something off anyway.
They said now we have lost the technology to get to the moon, but that's like our cell phones have more technology than when they first put people on the moon. So I think that's just bullshit. They just don't want too many people going up there because it's already got life on the moon, probably. What else? I'm trying to read comments. It's kind of small.
Hey, Sam Haynes in here. Hey, how's it going, Sam?
Hey, Sam Haynes.
Hey, Sam.
How you doing?
You're AD part of me.
Mr. Scaly, Musk couldn't colonize Epstein Island. Jeez.
Agreed.
Yeah, I don't think there's really an end to space. That's what Pomp said. Do we know what's at the end of the is there an end? I don't think so.
I don't think that there is an end to the universe.
No, it just keeps going, and who knows? There might be an exact copy of our planet just a couple light years away. Or, I mean, they do know Planet X, and there's other planets that might have life, and those are like 4 light years away. So we could never really get there, but we do know that there's other planets with life and different. Didn't they just discover biochemical stuff on a planet somewhere? I forget. I was talking about it at one point. And
it's actually not too far from it. We'll never get there because it's light years, but yeah, they did find that. It actually the planet came in front of the sun or its star, between the star and us, which is very rare, by the way. That's very rare when that happens. But we were actually able to get a glimpse of its atmosphere, and it has biosignatures in the atmosphere.
Yeah, it's more of a different, like a methane-based biosphere or something. It's a different base, but like instead of carbon or carbon dioxide. But that proves that there's something there that's probably alive. There's enough water, there's an atmosphere, which is really cool. Sam Hamm, hey Jones, just popping in for a quick hello, just finished work and got to go head out. All right, man. Thanks for coming in. I am way behind on the comments. I'm not used to
I
doing
can't even
this.
see the comments.
Papa's saying, what's the furthest distance we can reach with a robot and as humans? As humans, well, see, the problem is the distance in space is astronomically huge. We can't even really fathom that with our mind. The fastest anything can travel is the speed of light, but it can't have any mass in order to go that speed. So anything with mass could never go that speed. I mean, if you were to actually go that speed, you could go around the planet 7 times in a second, but it'll take you 8 minutes to get to the sun and 4.5 years to get to the nearest star, if you could go that speed. So the problem is that space is huge, and there's no way to travel past a certain speed. But having said that, the other problem is simply time. As humans, you're only going to get as far as a human can live.
Yeah, because we don't have cryo chambers yet.
Right. And with a robot, eventually, the furthest distance, eventually, is the answer to that.
Eventually,
And
if
we
we
also
keep
have
going
to
in
think
our direction of technology, we'll have the tech.
We also have to think about, outside of the amount of space we have to travel and the amount of time it takes to travel it, there's also space-time, which is sort of the combined measurement of how much we can travel within a certain time. So that also changes depending on technology, what you're actually moving. You can't move certain things faster, if that makes sense.
And space-time is just the fabric of the existence that we're in. It's space and time interact so closely with each other. It's kind of like the electromagnetic field. But that's what space-time is. So Pomp was saying, so we couldn't colonize Mars, then could we? Well, the problem is not getting to Mars. It's getting back and staying there and staying alive. That's the problem. We can get there,
supplies.
We'd just probably die once we're there.
Yeah, we'd be there for a while, and the supply shipment wouldn't get there for a long time. So would it be fast enough to get the supplies? But could we terraform it? Maybe.
Pomp brought that up. How much fuel could we carry? That's another thing to think about if we're traveling long distance.
We do have near speed light or light speed engines, but they're a different type of engine now. I looked it up, and it's like a plasma engine, and they do fly, 1 million miles an hour or whatever. And they're calling it a near light speed engine, but it's not. You're not even close to light speed. And the only other way that I could think, if you wanted to, say, jump out to Pluto, all the way up to our far reaches of our little area, you're going to need to bend space and time. You're going to need a warp drive. Eventually, we'll probably get warp drives. It's probably, maybe another 100 years away, but if you look
or
at
teleportation device.
Yeah, maybe an ancient device that those old technologies, we knew a lot more back then, obviously, if we could build that stuff. They found plenty of underground things that they can't explain. Next to the pyramids, there's 150 shafts that go into underground tunnel systems and rooms and galas and huge entrances. How the hell did they build that? How are they drilling perfectly circular holes, smooth bore holes into rock? Because they find those in Peru, Mexico, South America, China. Even in China, there's over 2,000 pyramids, but the Chinese government doesn't let anyone know about those. You can't even like research them. Half that's just blocked out on Google Earth and all that. You can look at Google Earth all you want, but they'll blur it out or make it match the landscape if there's an area that has like ancient artifacts or cities. It's
I kind of
crazy.
got an idea on how they were able to achieve all that. They didn't have distractions like Facebook and Pornhub back then, so they were able to,
I mean,
think.
thousands of years ago, they were just looking at the stars. It's the greatest show on the earth. Because what else do you have to do? You don't have TV, so you're watching the stars. That's why they knew every. The Mayans had the calendars for a star system. They knew about that even way back then, before we thought the Earth was flat. The solar system there are maps and symbols and carvings of Earth rotating around the sun. They knew Sirius B and Orion's Belt had. That's kind of like another system that we thought other intelligent life had come from. So those are some of the stories. Like, all right, how did they know that thousands of years ago? Well, the skies didn't have this light blanket over it, because if you're in a city or a town, we have so much light pollution you can't even see the stars anymore. Everybody, all at once, shut your lights off at night. Then we could see the sky for real.
That was actually, I think it was either New York or Los Angeles that lost power 1 year during the night, and the police station was inundated with phone calls from people talking about these strange lights in the sky. They were seeing the Milky Way for the first time in their life.
So Maine is the only place I've been where I could see the entire Milky Way. You can actually see the dust and asteroid belts, and you could see everything up in Maine. And I'm in the middle of nowhere, Maine. That's why I could see the actual Milky Way. I wish I took more pictures, but back then, cell phones weren't. You had, the Nokia with the little snake game on it, the unbreakable phone. Yeah, you could use it as a hammer, because I definitely used it as a hammer.
I got to go grab a second cup of coffee here in a minute.
That's the beauty of being in the boonies where I'm at. You can get perfect view of the stars, except for like when it's cloudy and stuff like that.
Dude, I like the way you got that on your ceiling, like with the stars twinkling and the Aurora Borealis. Is what it looks like.
I still have not seen the Aurora Borealis.
Honestly,
I hear up in Maine, you can see it nowadays because
it's beautiful.
Probably because of our pole shift. I've never seen it. Not in real life.
Beautiful. I've seen it. I've seen it IRL. It's beautiful. It's unreal because you feel like you could reach up there and touch it.
I bet. If it's anything like this, I know it's got to be awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty much like that, Mike.
Further up. It's kind of like that almost, but it looks more 3D than that. But like it looks like you could reach up there and grab some of it in your hand, and really it's a lot further up there than it looks. But like it's beautiful.
Yes, Pop. Orion's Belt is linked to many structures all over Earth. So that was like one of our first. It's like, okay, other life probably comes from that. I forget if it's Sirius B or A. I forget which one it is, but they do talk about that. Yeah, one of the closer star systems that actually may have life. And I mean, with the amount of stuff covered up, it's ridiculous what like NASA even has shown that, yeah, we doctor our photos after they're taken. Like the planet Mars isn't actually that red. They just make it look that way. And I was like, what the fuck? When I learned about that, I was like, all right, so everything isn't, it's more just like tan it's got a red tint, but it's not that red. The artifacts they're finding on Mars now too, with just the rovers. I do think the face on Mars has something to do with some pyramid-like structures next to it, stuff like that. I'm 100% sure Mars was once just like Earth, maybe a million years ago.
Yep.
I agree.
Yeah.
They even found
They
like a
noticed-
door that goes into like some sort of cave system on Mars. Like, yeah.
Oh.
Oh, Mike.
Uh-oh.
I think we lost Mike again.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a possibility.
I know what he's talking about, though, the doorways. And I was watching something the other day that they keep finding different giant doorways on Earth. What is it? Teotihuacan. I can't even really say it, but there's some doorways etched into the side of cliffs, and I think maybe those were actually like used as portals or gateways, and we just don't know how to open them anymore. But all right, later, Pomp. Have a good one. Thanks for coming, man.
All right, have a good one, Pomp. It's always good.
We'll see you later, Pomp.
All right, we're back.
Hey, there's Mike.
Hey, we
All
got
right.
him.
So I was watching another thing on like creatures and bones found. So we do know that a Hobbit society lived, 3 foot tall people that they have skeletal remains of that show there was a civilization of small creatures, human-like, but they're not Homo sapiens. They're a different species, and they keep finding different ones. Like they know of Gigantopithecus. I can't say it. Like a Bigfoot creature that used to exist, and they have skeletal remains of that, and then the elongated skulls that are in the Smithsonian, and then in Nazca, Peru, they found 2 alien bodies that are actually 3-fingered, full skeletal, like they x-rayed them, full skeletal. Some still have organs inside of them and elongated skulls. I believe those are real. The ones they showed on TV in Mexico were not real. They were like little dolls made out of chicken bones and plaster and stuff. They put them together. But some of the stuff that they're finding in Hidalgo, Mexico now, I'm looking at it. I watched probably like 3 hours about stuff, and they just keep digging and pulling out artifacts. It'd be very difficult to do that and fake it. And why would you bury it 15 feet down to re-dig it up? And some of the ancient alien theorists have already said it's just fake stuff. Well, these guys are. There's a chemical inside the rock that makes these objects glow. Some of these artifacts are glowing in the dark, but they can't figure out what the substance is or how they would have done that in ancient times. And there needs to be a news cycle and real research done on it, and like take every one of these artifacts and give it to some professional in the United States. I don't think they're doing any studies on it. They're just kind of like, it's fake, automatically saying it's fake, even though these artifacts are dating back 1,000 or more years.
Yeah.
So I don't understand how we can just say all of a sudden it's fake when you haven't done enough research on it. The guy doing it is Alien Artifacts, I believe, on YouTube, or Alien Carvings. It's something, simply named, but that's
you guys
actually.
hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, Matt.
Yeah, we hear
You
you.
can hear me? Okay.
Mike, you're back.
Good deal. Good
Yeah.
deal.
I saw those images, and it also makes me wonder if it's not from here, because we don't have the technology for like glow in the dark stuff that they found during that time. So without it having to be in sunlight or light, period. So if it was buried for over that amount of years, how is it still glowing? Unless it was from somewhere else.
They had a there was a rock. Really, the story should end there, but it was there was a rock and it fell from the sky. It came down, And when they went to go check it out, they found this small baseball-sized rock, and they couldn't pick it up with the largest industrial crane. It was
They're
so
so
heavy.
worthy.
So it's some
I
type
don't remember
of
what it
material.
was. It was a metallic material. I don't remember what it was, but it was so heavy
That's crazy.
that like
I
a
don't know
large
about that.
industrial
I don't know
crane
about that.
couldn't lift it. They had to
It was a
lift
piece
it.
of Milner.
They eventually figured out how to lift it. They've got it stored somewhere now, but they couldn't pick it up. It
Probably
just
the
fell from the
Smithsonian.
sky.
Neutronium.
Petroleum?
Neutronium.
The neutronium. Well,
The
we do
fuel
have
of the future.
what's it called? What's it called in the Marvel movies? That metal there. We do have stuff like
Uru.
that. We found.
I was
I
going
think
to
it's
say
called
vibranium.
Yeah,
What
that
was
stuff.
vibranium from? That was a different one.
Vibranium is another metal. Vibranium, adamantium, Uru. But Uru is what the space dwarves made Stormbreaker and Mjolnir out of. It's materials built within a neutron star, which in real life is called neutronium.
Neutronium's the actual word. Yeah.
One teaspoon of neutronium weighs as much as a mountain on Earth.
Yeah.
So it was probably that. That's why they couldn't pick it up.
It's honestly
They found
surprising this piece of neutronium wouldn't have somehow screwed the gravitate, like the, what am I trying to say? The
Oh yeah,
path
it would have
of
pulled you right into it.
gravitation.
It had its own gravity stuck to the earth.
The way Earth orbits, the orbital path around the sun, I guess I could say. It's really weird that it wouldn't have done that more drastically.
But in real life, if that had landed on Earth, one, it would have went down to the core. Two, anything around it would have been sucked into it. But
it would have been
neutronium can only exist on the crazy gravity of a neutron star. Once it's away from it, it explodes. It can't exist anywhere else.
So it just blows up. That's cool.
So this probably wasn't neutronium. This was just a really heavy metal. Is probably just what this was.
Somebody threw a really heavy, one of the aliens was like, "Here you go," and just smashed there.
We're just all peaceful in the middle of the night. Everyone's asleep, and as this thing comes falling through the atmosphere, you hear Slipknot fading in. This is no God of life, just like slowly getting louder. Before I forget that, just.
They did find the actual metals in, well, I think it was Egypt and a few other areas that had daggers made out of asteroids and meaty metal, and they had like rare metals in it. So they dated that 2,000 years ago, but it probably could be a lot older. And if they were metal, I mean, if you're gonna find a chunk of metal and use it and heat it up and make it into a dagger. So then in America, they found out that actually the Iron Age was a lot earlier, and that Native Americans actually had farms and weren't all nomadic. So now our history books, all the stuff we all learned in high school is all wrong. It's kind of like, they were only nomads and teepees, but now they're finding actual civilizations set up back in Native American times, and farms and different like areas of like metals, actual worked metals. So the Iron Age has been pushed back like 2,000 more years than we previously thought. You can definitely look that one up. I read about it. I forget where.
Because I thought that Native Americans originally migrated from like the Far East, like Asia, like that area of the world. So it would make sense from coming from like the feudal era or whatever. It would make sense they would have some ironworking coming into the what would now.
For
be
all
the
we
United
know, they're
States.
the lost tribe of Israel.
They very well could be. We know those guys had at least scimitars.
The Hopi Indian had Native American stories of coming into and meeting the ant people at the Grand Canyon. So that was when the Hopi Indians first came to America. So they believe they came across that land bridge down through Alaska, Canada, and into America. And some other Native Americans came up from South America, and those were the first Native Americans that were coming from other areas and meeting other ant people or different things that lived in the United States and coming out of the ground. And that's how they learned about farming and corn and all that stuff. And those legends, I do believe, were mostly true and then passed down word of mouth. They didn't really have a lot of writing down of stuff. Like the Native Americans didn't do much, but they did do cave paintings and petroglyphs, hieroglyphs. That's like the only stuff we know is the very like little small amount of stuff they left behind. But I bet if we keep digging down under the ground, if you dig down deep enough, you probably find a civilization that's 5, 10, 15,000 years old, never known about. Göbekli Tepe is that's 23,000 years old. Okay, well, how did they stack stones and have a whole setup like that with really nice hieroglyphs of all the animals? We don't, like 23,000 years old, we didn't think there were, set up civilizations yet. They thought people were just running around like cavemen.
Well, I mean, you got to think anywhere you dig, you can find stuff. My cousin, he lived out there in what was it? Not Grand Saline. It was just outside of Grand Saline. I don't remember the name of the town he was in, but he used to live out there, and they had a plot of land, and this land, it had no history of anyone living on it ever. Right.
But there's probably stuff.
But he went out there and he wanted to start up a quarry because there was some good rocks out there. And he starts digging stuff up. He starts finding metals and stuff, and he gets a pickaxe and he starts getting them. And then he gets underneath these deposits, and there's machine parts that he can't recognize from any machine he knows that's underneath these metal deposits. And he's finding them, and he's sending me pictures. One of them looked like a pump of some sort, but it didn't go to anything I've ever seen. It looked like maybe some kind of hydraulic pump or some kind of like fluid pump, like for power steering fluid or some kind of oil, just something, But it didn't look like anything I've ever seen. And that he regularly found the stuff. And that's anywhere you go. Anywhere on this planet, you can start digging and you'll eventually find something that shouldn't be there.
Didn't they find something like that in the ocean? They found like a gear, and it's a metal box and it has gears in it, and on top of it it's like the first computer. I forget what it's called.
Computer. It was the first computer. It was it was able to accurately calculate the positions of the stars at any point on any year, future, past, or present, and it did it with such accuracy. They put it in a museum somewhere. I don't remember where.
Thank you.
But yeah, that was the first computer. Yeah,
it's either the Louvre or the Smithsonian.
One of them.
Smithsonian
you can
probably
find stuff like that all day, dude. Anywhere you go, you just start digging down, and before you'll know it, you'll find something.
So with that, you're talking about like technology. They did find metal pipes in, I think, South America. There's a pyramid, and they found like a pipe system that is made out of like iron and metal. And if it's built into the pyramid thousands of years ago, how the hell did they do that? They didn't, they don't understand these things. And science isn't exactly, well, it's not 100%. It is a theory. They don't really understand, like, you have to do so much work to get, your hypothesis, your theory, and then I think you need like 3 or 4 pieces of evidence before you can actually prove anything. But even then, you don't understand if that artifact or that piece of equipment could be something else, because we have no idea what we used to do 11,000 years ago. Even we can't go back that far. There's no history, and we have some people speculate on it, but most of it's hidden history. And yeah, Smithsonian, the Vatican, there's a few other places. Area 51 probably has these old artifacts of magical power, basically, Stargates have been discovered with the hieroglyphs of like Stargate, the movie. They keep finding things as we're digging. So some places have cliff sides that will show layers and layers of different time periods. Like, okay, here's a volcano that it went off 6,800 years ago. Below that, there's a whole civilization that got wiped out. And right above it is all the ash. And then you can go up the next level and next level. Everything is just always compacting on top of each other and being dug deeper and deeper. You just don't know. I think Atlantis was real. I believe in inner Earth. I'm going wild. I'll just say everything has something to do with another thing. Even the Bigfoot stories go around the whole continent. Each civilization has a different story of Bigfoot, mermaids. If you look at dragons, they're at South America, Mexico. Dragons were across the world before communication between people on different continents. And the Great Wall of China was actually to hold back something else. And the old world of Tartaria, that really interests me because some people said that the World's Fairs, actually, they were built using Tartaria technology, and that there's still some Tartarian evidence, buildings and structures and things that we could build in a year or two that would take us 20 years to build now. Stone masonry done that just blowing science's mind. There's still buildings all over the place of that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
What is that Tartarian? What is
So
that?
it's before like erased history. It was a whole country over near Russia and China, and there are maps that show Tartaria, and there was even the man that came from Tartaria, and I think it was in the 1860s. A guy showed up. Nobody knew who he was. He got in trouble. He gave the police his passport, and they said, like, where are you coming from? And his passport said Tartaria. His name was kind of weird. He could speak a different language that nobody could really understand. And then they didn't understand it, and then he disappeared after. I think he was only around for like a few weeks, and then he was just gone.
They detained him because they weren't sure if he was, trying to illegally immigrate or whatever the case, and they detained him, and they were trying to figure out what he had going on. And
I
then
love that
before
story.
they even got back to him, he was gone. He disappeared from his cell.
So that's just one story. There's other stories like that of people. What is it? The little green people of Pompet or something like that. These two kids, they found a tunnel
Green
and
children.
walked through. They had green skin. They would only eat green beans. That's like, or they were vegetarian and they didn't speak English. They didn't speak German or wherever they were found. They spoke a different language. The little boy actually passed away. The girl grew up and married a guy, and eventually her skin changed from green to being a white woman. And they didn't at the time. That story is still like disputed, but I believe that something happened where they might have walked through.
Part of that story is that they explicitly described her as her skin changing to that of a white woman, but that was in the part of a world where they didn't really have white women. They were darker skinned over there.
Right,
so that's the interesting part of the story.
Are they coming from inner Earth? Maybe. I don't know. I do think Hollow Moon and Hollow Earth is possible. We did detect oceans inside of our Earth, which is really weird to me. I saw some scans of that and like them talking about it. That Earth actually has inner oceans and voids, and they're huge, like as big as the Atlantic Ocean inside the Earth.
They even found water inside the moon, if I'm not mistaken, like lakes and oceans in there too.
Yeah. So, and then what else did they just discover? There was something about Antarctica. Under the ice sheets, they're starting to realize that there were civilizations on Antarctica way back. So I would probably say before 11,000 years ago, Antarctica probably was partly tropical or had, green and lush, and maybe it's thermal vents that are heating parts of it. But they did do research, and it's usually over that no-fly zone and no-go zone, right near the middle of Antarctica, and the northwest part of Antarctica is all blurred out on Google Maps. I'll be right back. I got to run inside to check on the kids. I'll be back in one.
We'll
That's
be
a
here.
bubble bet.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Antarctica has a whole lot of don't fly here, don't bring your boat here, don't look at it on a map, don't even look at this general direction. As a matter of fact, stop thinking about it.
Yeah, it's really weird. And the weirdest part is, and I'm not by any means into the flat Earth theory, but the ice wall, it's just odd. That's all I'm gonna say. It's just really odd
It's very
how
unusual.
it doesn't exist, yet there it is, and we're not allowed to look at it, and no one's going to go over it, even though there's nothing over it. Don't worry about that. It's just more Earth on the other side, and you just go around the planet. It's not a big deal, but you're not allowed to do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Just take our word for it.
Just
go back
believe.
to your Facebook and Pornhub and
Go
just-
back to sleep. Just go back to sleep. And it's like,
Almost
well,
make-
now hang on. You know what I mean?
it almost makes you wonder what they're hiding.
Now I
Not
want to
do
go
that sort
over
of
it.
stuff.
Now you're telling me not to, and it's making me wanna. So like, you should have just told me what was over there, and then I wouldn't have wanted to. Like,
What's over there? Penguins. Lots of penguins.
lots of penguins
And nothing else.
and nothing else. It's odd. And then if we're talking about UAPs, and they're theorizing that these extraterrestrial life forms may very well already have a base established on the surface of our planet or even under the surface of our oceans. And then there's the ice wall. And it's like, well, don't go there. Just don't think about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's think about it. Have we tried that? Can we try that?
Don't think about it. Stop thinking.
Back to sleep. free from fear or pain or choice and other poison devils.
We will think for you.
Oh God, I love A Perfect Circle. What a fantastic band.
Filmer and Tool are both pretty good.
9 Inch Nails.
I actually did a cover of what was it? It's not public, but I should touch it up and make it public. But I did a cover of I forget the name of the song, Vitamin R by Chevelle.
Mm.
And it came out pretty good. That's why I said I might touch it up and publicize it.
Nice. Chevelle's another good band.
Tool.
Also like those guys.
Well, Tool and A Perfect Circle, don't they have the same singer, same guy?
I don't know if they do. They sound identical, so it wouldn't surprise me. I never looked it up, but it would make sense because they're basically the same band. It's kind of like Fall Out Boy and what is it? Fall Out Boy and who does I Write Sins Not Tragedies?
I don't think I've heard of it.
Panic at the Disco.
Panic at the Disco, yeah. Fall Out Boy and Panic, they're kind of basically the same band. They just have different people. But like Brendan Urie is just Pete Wentz.
The
Sorry
Shadow,
about
here he
that.
comes.
My kid decided to dump milk everywhere.
Oh boy.
That
Yeah,
you know
so-
what? I'm sorry, that brought PTSD back because I had my kid here a couple days ago, and I gave him a cup of milk like a big dummy, and I didn't just give him a little bit, gave him a lot of it, and like 2/3 of it ended up on the floor. So that was my fault.
Yeah. He was like, I wanted milk, and there was milk all over the kitchen. I'm like, all right, sorry, buddy, I'll be right in. So, whatever I was talking about before that.
We started talking about bands. And to answer your question, yes, the lead singer of Tool is Minoru James Keenan. He's also the lead vocalist for A Perfect Circle. He's known for his haunting vocals. He's also fronting a third project called Pucifier.
Pucifier?
Yeah, I've heard of Pucifier.
I have not.
I don't think they've done anything. I think that's still in the works.
I love some good metal. I like Clutch. Who else? Tool, Static X.
Oh, so you probably like things
System
like
of a Down is pretty good.
what is it? Dimmu Borgir, Flaw.
Oh, Guar. I've met Guar when I worked at a Comcast Center up in Mass.
Oh, did you?
My sister used to do the roster or the backstage setup for the dressing rooms, and you'd get a roster. And when we got Guar's roster, me and my sister had to go shopping, and we had to go to an FX store for like movie props and effects because they wanted fake blood, fake pee, fake throw up, diarrhea. So they throw that at the crowd and stuff. We had to pick up. What else? We picked up some weird things for some of the bands. Some of the naughtier stuff, you'd get like SEX boys and stuff on the roster. You'd be like, what the hell? Some bands would get like 13 bottles of Jack Daniels, 13 bottles of vodka, and you got to bring it to the tour bus. Wow. Yeah, anyone famous my sister has met. Ozzy Osbourne, Roger Waters, Blink-182, Green Day. Name a band and she's met them.
Sweet.
Oh, cool.
Name a band, and she's met them. Okay, challenge accepted. I've got bands that she's probably never even heard of. Let's see.
You'd be surprised. Second stage.
What was the name? It was Crimson, but in Spanish. I don't remember the
Crimson.
I don't remember the.
All I think is Crimson.
Carmacy. I think it's Carmacy.
Probably
yeah,
not.
Carmacy.
I don't know.
They're a good band.
She was doing the main stage, but second stage would be like POD, Puddle of Mud. Some of the other bands would be on second stage. Who did I meet? Oh, I met Jay Giles one time. Jay Giles band. He was really cool.
There's no way she's had Linkin Park. Linkin Park.
Years ago, yeah.
What about Audio Slave?
Audio Slave, that's a good one.
Godsmack, that guy was really cool. I got to meet him. She hung out with Snoop Dogg, Gwen Stefani. Oh, Ozzy Osbourne and Sharon. She hung out with Sharon. Sharon!
Where's my pill, Sharon?
Oh, that's great.
He really does. You only can give him brown M&Ms or something. She had to do that. Whatever
that's
his
great.
sport. POD was one of my favorite bands. I met them, and they were shooting everybody with a fire hose. That was awesome because it was like 100 degrees out there. The guys who do Psycho Chicken, Psycho Killer Cha-Cha-Chi, but it's Psycho Chicken. I forget what the band is, but they were fun, dude. That was really a fun concert. We used to sneak the beer. So you go to the room with the kegs and untap a line, and then you pour your own beers. Don't tell anyone.
Nice. Yeah, we had me and my buddy, coming up in Houston when I was out here, probably about 20 2014, me and my buddy used to rip it up at the concert halls, specifically Warehouse Live. We knew a guy named Chris. He'd let us in, and he hasn't worked there anymore, but he'd let us in, and we'd get like backstage passes and stuff, sometimes even for as cheap as free, right?
Yeah,
and so we'd go in.
Wow.
We had the whole house. We had the whole bar. We had, the works, right? And the reason we had all this is because, well, I'm not going to go into why. I was into some stuff I shouldn't have been back in the day. But anyway, we got into this club, this concert hall all the time, and it got a little crazy at times because, like, you'd have certain bands, like we had Pierce the Veil came in, and they played with Bring Me the Horizon. Was it 311, that old school band back when they were still touring? They were going on like a final season tour or whatever, and they came in, and just like we got to meet all of these guys, dude. And like these guys are like, you think that a Hollywood star is just going to be an asshole all the time, and then when you finally meet them, and we even met Paramore. Hayley Williams is a sweetheart. She's really is an authentic person, like behind the scenes. Like she has a whole past.
Some of those people are just regular people.
Yeah,
because
it's great.
I met Guar, and they were like really nice. Like they're wearing their costumes, but they're just regular guys. That's what I really enjoyed, like the backstage part. But I was always cooking. Usually, I had the crap job. My sister had the best job, and so I just like kind of once in a while follow her around, leave my. I'm making cheeseburgers and Italian sausages, and all of a sudden I disappear. I did not care. I worked there for 5 years, so like 2004 to 2007 or 8, and they kept changing it. It was like Xfinity Center, Comcast Center, something else before that, I forget. But I guess Aerosmith's really nice. Blink-182 were really nice to my sister. Some of the other people, like she would get on the tour bus with them, and you'd see like all the naughty stuff all around the tour bus. They had wild parties while they were like right after the concert. There'd be like after parties there. I never got to go, but my sister had to stay late sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, we were late getting out the back door on one of those shows. Actually, that happened a couple times, but one of those shows, it was a big deal because the actual owner was there. And so so I remember Chris and a couple of bouncers coming up to us and just like walking us out, and we're just like, what happened? And he's like, oh, the owner's here, you got to go. And we're just
My manager caught me when who was it? I can't remember the band, but I snuck off, and I was in the crowd, and my manager came and found me. Just get back to cooking. It was during Ozfest. So Ozfest was like a 16, 18 hour fucking show, and I snuck away for like a couple hours, and she's like, you're supposed to be cooking. The line is backing up, and I'm out there like, yeah, just partying. She's like, we could let you go for this, but we don't have any other cooks, so you can keep your job.
That's hilarious.
It was deadly cooking too, like 120 degrees behind the grill.
I've got the all-time best story of how I was the worst employee in all of employment history of any employee at any job ever, and not only got away with it for 3 years. Not only did I get away with it for 3 years, but I also ran the store while I was at it. I was a driver. I was a driver at Domino's. Every single day, I would go in. I would walk straight past everyone and not say a word to anybody. I would reach into the reach-in cooler and I would just grab a Monster and I'd crack it open to start drinking it. I'd go to the back and clock in, and I would start on my dishes. And I used to chat it up with everybody. I didn't do a lot of work, right? But I sure did take a lot of Monsters that I never paid for. talked
Yeah,
back
I
to all
worked
of
at
my
Subway.
managers.
I never paid for a sandwich.
One day, Shanna, one of my AMs, comes up to me, and she's just like, "Well, Matt, I need you to pay for every single one of those monsters you've ever taken." And I look at her, and I'm just like,
I don't have that kind of money.
and I turn around and I start walking away, and I'm like, "Yeah, that shit is fucking priceless." And I was on a delivery. I was coming back from this delivery, and I'd probably been gone for 40 minutes, and you shouldn't be gone for more than 25 on a delivery, right? So I get back to the store after 3 cigarettes that I stood around and smoked outside of a gas station while talking to the employee for 25 minutes. I jump in my truck and head back to the store. I walk in, and my boss, Michaela's like, "Matt, it took you way too long to get back from that delivery. We're going to need to go talk about this." And she brings me into the office, and she gives me a write-up. And she hands me this piece of paper. She's like, "You don't have to sign it. I'll get a witness if you don't. But, this is just stating that I wrote you up to written documentation, just blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, this is mine then?" And she's like, yeah, if you want to just sign it." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." And I start ripping it up.
Oh, man.
Once I
Yeah,
get it
you're like,
ripped up,
that's one of those
just-
jobs where you don't care if you get in trouble, spend an extra half an hour on your break. I did that at Lowe's. I worked at Lowe's, and they used to do some crazy shit at Lowe's. They wouldn't let me work at the electrical section, even though I was an electrician on the side. And they're like, "No, you gotta do garden." And I'm like, "But okay." So they just, even if you have experience, they wouldn't put you in that section.
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan, the funny thing about Lowe's, that's where me and Matt first met. We got on doing the same job at the same time. We trained together, and that's how we got to be friends at Lowe's.
That's
and
awesome.
the first section that I worked in was
It
electrical.
was electrical. Yeah.
Yeah, they wouldn't let me work there. I'm an electrician.
But no. So I had this pile of ripped up write-up paper, and and I'm just like, I throw it in the office, and I'm like, "Confetti." And so Michaela's like, "All right, fine, we can play this game." And she writes me up again, and she's like, "This is for doing that." And I'm like, "I get another one?" And I rip that one, right? And I just,
that was like working.
she does this exactly. She goes, "Okay." And she goes back to the computer and gives me a third one. And she's like, "If you do another one, I'm letting you go." And I'm like, "You mean like this?" And I start ripping it up.
I don't need the $10 an hour just for this hassle.
So she goes out to talk to Shanna, and she's telling her whatever. Shanna's like, "Michaela, stop pissing Matt off." And so Michaela comes walking back up, and she's like, "I can't do this. I just can't do this." And I come walking up, and I'm like, "Hey, yo, Michaela." And she goes, "Matt, don't. And she starts when I'm like, "You gonna clean that mess in the office?"
No,
That's the all-time worst employee ever at that job.
Matt, tell them about the Walmart incident.
You work for Walmart?
Well, I did until I quit.
My wife works there right now. She
But
says
you
it's not a bad job.
I didn't quit like a normal employee. They pissed me off really bad. So I went to the back of the store with a huge lineup of buggies I stole from the front. And I started loading them down with Captain Crunch by the pound from the shelves. And so I started littering the store with Captain Crunch boxes around shelves randomly. And I left baskets filled with Captain Crunch boxes around the store. And then I lined them up in front of the doors. And I walked up, and people were staring at me. Nobody knew what I was doing. And I walked up to the door, and I turn around, and I'm just like, "Captain Crunch!" And then I just walk out.
That's one of the ways to
That was
quit.
it. That's how I quit my job at Walmart.
I've lost out a few jobs, but not like that. That's a good way to quit.
Oh yeah, no, I made it memorable. If you go to the Dickinson Walmart and you ask them about Matthew, they'll tell you. They
I
know.
had
They remember.
I had one job that I did do something. I did. I was supposed to be putting up solar panels in a field, and this job had been screwing me around for a while. Like, you're going to do a 12-hour day. It's 100 degrees out, but we don't care. And sending me to jobs where nobody else was at, and starting to set up the solar panels by myself. So I go to this job out in like Plimpton, Massachusetts, some tiny town, and I get to the field, and one guy's there, the head guy, the manager, and he walks up to me with a shovel, and he's like, "We have a farm right there, and there's a pile of cow shit that we have to dig and flatten out." So he walks off and goes back to the work trailer that's set up there, and he's sitting in the trailer, and I'm supposed to dig shit. I'm supposed to just with a shovel. I'm like, I'm supposed to be hooking up solar panels. So this is how I quit. I filled the bed of his truck with the cow shit and spent like an hour shoveling the bed of his truck full of cow shit. And then I left. And he called me like an hour later. And he goes, "Why did you fill my truck with shit?" And I said, "You said to move the manure. So I filled your truck. You can do the rest. I only did like, a little bit. I'm a solar panel guy. I thought you wanted the shit in your truck." Just pretending. I knew you didn't want the
I said I thought you wanted this in your truck.
He was like, specifically,
Oh my God.
he's like, "I have like a half ton of shit in my bed of my truck." Well, you told me to move it. I moved it. I did my job. You
This
owe me for
reminds me
like
of Dean
an
and
hour or
Raj
two.
in the morning.
Oh boy.
We were
Oh
pissed.
my God. Oh my God. You gotta, it's oh, what's it called? I gotta look it up now. It's Dean and I don't know. It's something. It's no. It's not. It's not even Dean and Rice. What is it
Something
called?
like
I got it. Hold on.
Jerky
It's gonna
Boys.
be. I got it somewhere. We're gonna figure this out. We're gonna figure this out because I watch these all the time. They come up on my Facebook reels a lot whenever I watch those. So I'll find them.
Playing prank. What is it? Vlog creations. When they do the prank on people, that is actually funny.
So it's actually I can find it. Hang on. Second date update. Da 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 da.
Have you seen Vlog creations? That guy does funny shit. Like dig a hole on the beach and put a
There it
cooler
is.
over it, and it'll climb out of the cooler. And people on the beach will, "What the fuck is going on?" And then pick up a lady and put her in the cooler.
Yeah.
Those kind of pranks are actually funny.
So that's what it was. It was Brooke and Jubal in the morning. That's what it was. And
I don't know.
they do this thing. It's called the second date update, and it's like these two people, they'll go on a date, whatever, and one of them doesn't call the other one back, or essentially ghosts them, and so they'll reach out. The other one will reach out to Brooke and Jubal, and they'll call the one that ghosted, and they'll just be like, "What's going on? Would you like to do a second date? If you do, we'll pay for it," kind of thing. And it's
Like on a
hilarious. Some
radio?
of the stuff that you hear is hilarious in this show.
So you're like live on the radio, like, I tried to ghost them. Sorry, no, I don't want a second date. But
Yeah.
you're getting called out.
This one girl, she called because she wanted the second date update from her neighbor, and they never went on a date. And they're both married to their own spouses, right? Or well, at least her neighbor was married. She's divorced, but her neighbor's married to his own spouse. And so like she's gets Brooke and Jubal to call him, and he's confused, and she's like, "Okay, moment of full honesty. I didn't have you call him for a second date with him. I just wanted to talk to you, Jubal. And he's like, wait, what?
That's one way to get on the radio.
Yeah. I love that show.
Then that guy's in trouble. His wife's like, "Why is there a lady calling you on the radio?"
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Great.
I'm probably gonna get off here so I can go make sure my kid's not destroying the house.
All right.
He just ran out here and ran back in the house.
Uh-oh.
Shit.
Sounds good.
But
So,
thank you so much, you guys.
We plan on doing this again sometime.
Thank you.
Maybe next month.
Yeah,
Well,
maybe next.
Probably on my channel.
So what do you
I
guys?
should
all
have like
think going
more
on?
hours.
Mike,
I'm
what's
off
your?
free.
Tomorrow I will be doing a live stream on my channel. It was Jonathan aka Debunk the Junk. So first time
Nice.
meeting him.
Awesome. I'll be there. If I'm not there right away, it's probably because I'm driving. I'm leaving tomorrow for Iowa. I'm gonna go to for our school farmhouse, do some drone footage, hopefully. Yeah, you'll probably see me shooting some guns, doing some other stuff. I don't know what I'm doing yet,
Nice.
but we're gonna have fun. What are you up to, James? Are you doing? I know you got new cameras and new stuff. You're gonna
Yes.
be doing more videos.
I actually had recorded some the other day, but the microphone I was using was wireless and it cut out, ruined the audio, ticked me off. But anyway, I've got a Tascam recorder coming in today with another microphone. So yeah, I'm going to be doing more videos, probably a little bit of satire. So I'll keep y'all updated on that. Matt, you got anything coming up?
I have music projects coming up. I've been working on my gaming channel as well, so I'll have new stuff. But I was gonna say I'm off every Sunday and Monday. So
All right.
I'm off on
Yeah,
Monday.
I'll hit you guys up while I'm in Iowa. Maybe I'll do this while I'm doing an investigation, and you guys can jump in if you want.
Awesome.
That'll be cool.
That sounds
Especially
Be your second set of eyes, so to
right
speak.
there. So, as long as I got signal, I'll try and do this.
sounds good.
All right. I enjoyed it, guys. Had a lot of fun.
Later,
Same here,
Thank
guys.
you all. Peace out.
Take care,
Right
everyone.
on.
Thanks, everybody, for
Yeah.
watching.
Woo!
Thank you guys. We'll see you next time.